equal matrices once again, and this time we're looking at question number 3 from exercise 20E. And the question reads, it says, given that A equals -1 x, y, 3, and B is equal to 3, 1, -1, 2, and C equals -4, R is 7. It says, and A times B equals C. It says, determine the values of X, Y, R, and S. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so let me put 3. I'm going to put given. All right, and I have to write out everything that was given to me. So I'll use alt equal as we normally do. I'll use a capital A equals. Remember, to do matrices, we must start with a bracket. We choose the curved brackets. So alt equal gives us the way to get there. Then we click on the little box. When we go to this section that mark matrices, and we're looking for a 2x2 matrix, which is this one. So we have that there. And so we have, all right, we're going to put -1 x, y, 3 as our first matrix. Then we have to put a comma, and we're going to do the same thing with B. B equals, again, we'll put the bracket. After we put the bracket, we click on the little box. We go to matrix, and we put the 4 elements there. And so we have 3, 1, -1, 2. And we have C. Let me put a comma there. And C equals, again, brackets. Click on the box. Go to where it says matrix, 2x2 matrix. And here we have -4, R, S, 7. Okay, so that was what was given to us. Let me put it on the side as it should be. So we'll say then, what we're looking for then is to solve the following. We are to solve A, B equals C. And so we can begin the process. So equal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy what I need because I don't want to go and click on it all the time. So that's A. All right. I'm going to copy again B. I'm going to paste it there. Equals C. And again, I'm just using copy and paste. All right. So I have it there. So it's -1 x, y, 3 times 3, 1, -1, 2 equals -4 R S 7. Okay. So that's our first step. Any questions up to there, guys? Any questions up to there? All we're looking for so far is the setup. We have not looked at anything else yet. Everybody with me? Yes? All right, now to the matrix multiplication. Now the matrix multiplication, of course, is a little bit challenging when we're doing it this way, but it's not impossible. So I go alt equal, all right? And I will click on the bracket, but this time I'm gonna use a square bracket. I'm gonna click on the little box again. I'm gonna go to matrix. Again, there are 4 things that we're going to have there. And so here I'll put in another bracket and I'll put in the elements that go there. So remember, it's row by column. So it's -1 times 3 plus x times -1. And that will be our first element. Then for the second element, again, it's going to be row 1 times column 2 now. So it's going to be -1 times, the first element there will be 1 plus x times the second element of that column, which is 2. So row by column. Now we're going to do the bottom row. Now we're going to do the row of 1 and 3. So we'll say open bracket, y times 3 plus 3 times -1, close the bracket. And then the final element will be y times 1 plus 3 times 2. Remember, if you want to keep track of this, remember that these two at the back, the 3's and the -1's, must match both at the top and the bottom. The 1 and the 1 here must match at the bottom. The same thing here. The 2 and the 2 must match at the bottom. But we're not done. Equals, and what I'm going to do, since I'm not going to be using any of this part, I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste it back here so that I don't have to go retyping it in. So that's our next step. Any questions with that step so far? Any questions with that step so far? All right, row by column. Remember that. Yes.
The -1 times the 1 plus x times 2 will get that?
The -1, it comes from here,
Right
times
there,
the
so
3 from here, the x from here, times the -1 from here. That's the row being multiplied by the column. And then we go again, -1 times 1
okay.
plus x times the 2. Okay? All right. All right. So let's look at what this will give me. So again, all equal. Again, I'm going to use a square bracket first. Square bracket. I'm going to click inside. I'm going to use again a 2 by 2 matrix. And now I'm going to put in the values. So -1 times 3 is obviously -3 plus x times -1 is actually a -1x. So I'm going to change that positive to a -1x there. Because remember, a positive times a negative is a negative. Then for the next one, -1 times 1, that's obviously going to be -1, plus x times 2, we call it 2x. Then we have y times 3, which is this part. Y times 3, we can call it 3y. And 3 times -1, that's a positive times a negative again. So it's going to give me a negative, and that's going to be a -3. Then y times 1 is simply just 1y or 1y, whichever way you like to put it, plus 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? And that will be equal again to what I have here. Since I am not doing anything to it, I'm just going to copy it once again, and I'm going to paste it. So that is my next step. So my next step says -3 minus 1x minus 1 plus 2x, 3y minus 3, y plus 6 equals -4 RST. Yes? Questions, guys? So all I did is multiply these out. Nothing fancy. Everybody with me?
Sir,
Yes.
why you have that -3 take away 1x?
Yes, because -1 times 3 and negative times a positive is a negative. That's why it's a -3. Then I have a positive x times a -1. A positive times a negative is a -1x. You can put it as -x if you wish. It is the same thing. All right? It is the same thing. What's the problem, Miss Terry? All right? So x times -1 is -1x, or you can just call it -x. Okay?
Sir, because I really think that this side that I take away and the next side have plus. That's why
No,
my
you have,
bad.
remember, you have to, whenever we are multiplying, the signs must multiply as well. So a positive multiplied by a negative will give me a negative. Okay? So remember that.
Sir, let me say the whole bottom piece, sir, because I'm right on it, sir.
Now, what about it? It says
Uh,
-1 times 3, that's -3, plus x times -1, that's -1x or -x. Negative
sir, me
1,
understand, sir.
huh?
Understand. How you
Huh.
get a -1 times that and that and that and
Because
that.
look, -1 is from here. This -1, I times it by the 3. This x, I times it by the -1. But since this is still the first row and this is still the first column, I must place a plus sign between them for now. All right? So the same thing happens here. -1 times this one here, that gives me this first part, plus the x has to be multiplied by the 2. And this gives me this second part here. Then the y times the 3 gives me the first part here, plus 3 times -1, that gives me the second part there. Then y times 1 gives me the first part here. See where the cursor is moving? And then plus the 3 times the 2 gives me this back part there. Yes? You have to go back to what we were doing in December with matrix multiplication, okay? It's not an easy section. Okay? So I'm trying, if it's like this, let me see if I can probably do it. So this 1 times the 3 gives me this part, right? Plus this x, change it, change the color. This x,
So you did the row by column, right?
yes, sorry. Okay, let me go undo. Then this x, oh shucks, I don't know why it's not. This x times this -1 gives me this part. Okay? And so that's how I go doing it. It has to be row by column. So this first element with the first element, second element with the second element. Okay? And so it goes. All right? So you with me now, Mr. McCoy?
All the while I'm think that so.
Row is horizontal. Column is vertical. So row by column. All right, let's continue then. No, we have everything we need at this point. So we will say equate left hand side to right hand side. Okay? So we're trying to calculate this out now. And there are 3, let's put out the 4 things automatically. The first one is gonna be -3 minus, sorry, I forgot to put it as an equation. -3 minus the 1x is equal to -4. That's my first thing there. Then we have the second part, the second element, which is -1 plus 2x equals r, right? Then we have this third part that says 3y minus 3 equals S, right? And the final part, we have y plus 6 equals 7. So those are 4 distinct problems that we are going to have to work out. Okay? 4 distinct problems that we're going to have to work out. And to do so, let's use some color variant, use some colors so that you can see the difference. So this is the first one. This is the second one that we're going to need to solve. This part right here. This is the third one we're going to need to solve. Sorry, it didn't eat the tree, didn't take the tree. I don't know why. And the S. All right, that's the third one we're gonna need to solve. And then I'm trying to pick only transparent colors, colors that don't show too much, that are able to, that I'm gonna be able to type with afterwards, you know? And that is the fourth equation that we're going to need to solve later on. Okay, so these are the 4. Obviously, we cannot work out all 4 automatically. It doesn't work that way. Because if you notice, the first one has 1 letter, the second one has 2 letters, the third one has 2 letters, and the fourth one only has 1 letter. So those that have 2 letters, I cannot do them yet. Okay? So I'm gonna work these separately. All right? So let me do that. I'm going to copy this one here so I can show you that what I'm talking about. So this is the first question. Okay? So what is the opposite of minus 3? What's the opposite of minus 3?
Positive 3.
Positive 3. So what I will be doing is I'm gonna take this minus 3. I'm gonna add 3 to it. But remember, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side as well. So I'm gonna have to add 3 here as well. What will happen then? What will happen then?
Cancel out the first 2, 3.
That's right. These here will cancel, right? Leaving me with negative 1x equals negative 1, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right. But we need to get rid of those negatives. So I have to divide by a negative 1 here, and I need to divide by a negative 1 there. What will happen if I divide this by negative 1? What's negative 1 divided by negative 1?
Yeah, be a X, sir.
That's just going to be x. And negative 1 divided by negative 1 will simply give me 1. See it? So that is the first one. So let's call that A. That one is done. All right. Then we have to look at the second one here. All right. Now we need to look at the second one. Negative 1 plus 2x equals r. Okay. So looking at that second one, let me copy it. Let me copy it here. Copy. All right. Since I have that no, right? Since I have that no, I have the value of x. The value of x is 1. So I will now substitute 1 for x, right? Which means that when I do so, I will now have negative 1 plus 2 times 1 equals r. Now you tell me something. What is 2 times 1?
2.
2. So it's going to be plus 2 equals R. So what then is going to be the value of R? What's going to be the value of
So you
R?
are subtracting 1 from the 2.
That's right.
Like, yeah, cancel out.
No, 2 minus 1 leaves me with
Yeah, 1.
1. So I have the yellow one and I have the green one done. Can I do this blue one though? How many letters does the blue one have?
2, sir. 2
2.
different
So
ones.
I can't work that out yet. So I'm going to have to skip that one and I'm going to need to do the next one. So let me make some space and let me do this next one. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it here. Now, what then is the opposite of plus 6? What's the opposite of plus 6? What's the opposite of plus?
-6.
Negative 6. So I'm going to say y plus 6 and I'm going to minus 6 because minus 6 is the opposite of plus 6. But since I did that on one side, I have to do it on the other side. So what's going to happen now?
So yeah, cancel the 2, 6, and then I subtract 6 from 7.
That's right. And so what am I going to get? Y will
1.
equal 1. Exactly. Y will equal 1. Very good. So now that I have the value of y, I can find the answer to this one now. I can find the answer to this one now, and that's what I'm going to do now. So let me just put it there. I should have. Let me try to see if I can bring this in a little. Yeah, bring that in a little so that the next one fits. All right. Okay. All right. So let's do the next one. All right. The next one should go there. So alt equal. Oh, shucks. It went too far. That means I can't go that far. All right. Alt equal. All right. Let me copy this. Copy. Let me paste that there. I want to delete this one because I don't need it there. All right. In this one, we already have the value of y. So I'm going to substitute 1 for y. Okay? So I can put it this. I can put that in brackets so that you know it's not from the previous one. So substitute 1 for y from this one that I have here. So that means, what the heck is going on here? Why doesn't it? All right. So that means that for this one, I'm going to have 3 times 1 minus 3 equals s, right? Now you tell me, what is 3 times 1?
3, sir.
3. So I'm going to have 3 minus 3 equals s. So then what then is going to be my value?
S, sir, because then there'll be 0.
0. So s equals 0. Yes, the letter can